Welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics and my third ever live premiere video. Well, as live as premiere videos go. I will be there present, answering any and all questions that you have. So don't hesitate to ask them, because I sure as heck don't mind answering them. And, you know, I really love the idea when you guys share your information back and forth and that you subscribe to each other during these premieres. Just remember to do the courtesy of watching someone's video and then subscribe, so your subscription doesn't go into the YouTube triangle. Because we all want to see if we can get a few more subscriptions to our channels. I'd be full of it if I said I didn't want to either. I mean, we all have goals, and my goal is to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the summer. So I'd love to get there. And with your help, I just might. Anyways, back to this live premiere video. It's going to be on the fish room. Not to the shubbies that are behind me. That'll be a different video, and we'll be talking about them later on. This one's going to be mainly about planted tanks and barbs. So if you like your cypridae, and well, which do include shabbunkins, this video is for you. Or if you like planted tanks, this is for you. And an extra thanks in this live premiere goes out to Terrace Tanks and Friends and Justin from Aquascape. They've been helping me with some plant questions, and they're just the salt of the earth and great people. And I obviously subscribe to them and would love it if you haven't already that you look them up and subscribe to them. They're just great people and willing to help everyone out, especially with any planted tank questions. So let's get to the topic at hand. Again, it's going to be on some barbs, some fish that I've been looking for a long time that I finally found, and I'm stoked about showing them to you. And of course, about some aquascaping I've been doing back there. You got to remember, I'm just a beginner when it comes to live plants. Even though I've been in the hobby for a long time and have kept ponds with lots of live plants, aquariums are well, they're a different animal altogether, especially when it comes to live plants and keeping them doing well. So let's get on with this video, and I hope you stay around and that you like it. Well, let's get going, guys. It's been a while since we've been in the fish room. It's been a real hectic summer with the pond build, and then I've been, redoing the entire fish room. A lot of changes. But what I wanted to share with you, especially, is I've been looking for this one species for 2.5 years. And a little bit of the backstory on this. I had them years ago, and then traded them away because I was downsizing at the time. And I really haven't seen them since. And then with COVID and everything else, it was next to impossible to get. So I've been looking and looking. Well, as I've been redoing my barb tanks and doing some plants in them, I decided to go to this aquarium place, which is about an hour and a half away. And I was just going to get some schooling fish to enhance what I already have, and just give them something, a little bit more than just your average barb in the tank. And even though the barbs do school, I just wanted an additional schooling fish, and I decided, there was a bit of a special on White Cloud Mountain minnows, and being that they're a cyprid, I'd stick with basically species only and continue with that. But lo and behold, I found the fish that I've been looking for. The price was pretty scary. Like, I'm going to show you the price. I went, oh boy. But what do? I mean, you look for this fish for a long time, and it's just like looking for anything else, whether it's, something for your garden, or my wife's case, in my wife's case, a purse or a shoe that she's been looking for, and you just, wow, you got to bite the bullet and go for it. And I just hope that I've done the right thing, and that they'll all get along well. Even though I've always done my research on that particular species. So rather than me go on and on like a gas-fed duck, I'll tell you the species I wanted to get, and that's a filament barb. Now there's several varieties of filament barbs, and this one was just labeled filament barb, and they're juvenile, so it's really hard to tell whether they're going to be a filament barb, a true filament barb, or a mascara barb. Either way, I'm okay with that. I decided I put them in with the Aurelius, and I haven't shown you my new Aurelius tank. I've moved them from the 100 to a 125 gallon tank. So let's go take a look at the tank first, and then I'll show you and tell you about the fish I got. Well, it's not these guys. Those are two female shabunkins that have come in after breeding. Just giving a quick little update tour. This is going to be another shabunkin tank, and I'm just getting my other tanks ready for the fry. Changed things around, made the tanks, well, here they're a little bit bigger than they were before. And I wanted to do some different backgrounds, so you won't see your average background on these. This isn't the official tour of this room, but get you a kind of a quick idea of what all has transpired since you have last seen it. Well, let's get to the tank at hand here, that being the 100-gallon tank. As you see, you can see my Aurelius barbs are here. And mixed in with them are the little wee tiny juvenile filament barbs. Yep, you're not seeing things. Those fish are actually $14.99, or 3 for $40. Oh man, been looking for these guys forever, and sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and I did. I got 9 of them. Let's check them out. Now they really haven't had a chance to color up. Those tips of their fins will get really nice and red. They'll color up, not as much as these Aurelius barbs, but they'll get pretty big. They'll get between 4 to 6 inches, probably closer to the 4 inches. Later on, I'll get my wife to do a species profile on these guys for you. As well, she's got the gift of the ability to do these much better than me. Anyways, this is the tank that I've done up. I've got some water amaranth in there, some bacopa, and some Ludwigia. I can never say that right. Ludwigia. Along with some Java fern and Anubias. I'm hoping to get a real good bacopa forest going, and I've got a couple nursery tanks going just to get the stems a little bit more. I think it's really come along. I'm really happy with this amaranth. Shooting out all kinds of roots. I think that's good. But you people that have a lot more experience in plants than me will be able to tell me more. Because I'm just new at this, and it's part of the hobby that I'm really starting to enjoy, that being the planted tanks. The Aurelius have really taken to this 125-gallon tank. I used to have these split up into 2 different tanks, and they look so much better as one big school. They really do stick together really well in a school, in a bigger tank like this. And as you can see, the new arrivals, being the filament barbs, are settling in just nicely with these guys, and we'll probably school with them for the most part. What you see going around here are some very small white cloud mountain minnows, and I'm quite happy that these guys did not make a meal of them. I thought they would at first. They chased them a bit, but luckily they decided not to eat them. It's been a real battle to keep these stem plants in the substrate with these fish. I wish I had time to let them settle into the tank for weeks uh, prior to me adding the fish, but being that these guys were just in totes while I had the fish room changed around, it just wasn't suitable for them. So unfortunately, I had to get them in pretty quick. If you're wondering what the background is, not the best lighting right now. I decided to use a filter cloth um, as the background. I was going to paint all my tanks black, but being I had this filter cloth that my liner came in, I decided to use it on some of my tanks. I think it came out pretty good, and it beats the heck out of painting them all when I can just tape them to the back. And you can make different designs with them as well. I'll take you to another tank to show you. This one's a bit of a 3D look to it. Still have to add all the gravel. This one I'm still setting up. But it's a nice contrast in here. The weirdest thing that ever happened was I decided to put all my doctor fish together. I had 7 good-sized doctor fish. 4 large ones were already in the tank, and then I had 3 smaller ones. Well, I added the 3 smaller ones, and didn't my 4 that have been there for a year decide, well, this is the day we're all going to jump out together. And they all did, all 4 of them. Leaving the 3 new ones quite happy in this tank by themselves. Go figure that one out. Just a quick glimpse of the 100-gallon tank. And we'll discuss what's going on with those guys later, as you may see a different barb species that you hadn't seen before. I found these tiny little wee melon barbs, and they needed some extra love and attention. Definitely some TLC for these guys. They're pretty skinny, and they were still $10 each, but I decided to get them, and I got them a few months ago. They've just been off in a small tank where they've done a little bit of growth, not that much. At least I'd hope they would grow a little bit more, but I only grabbed about 7 of these guys. And these guys' coloring is, well, they're juvenile. They need to come up a lot yet. Sorry for all the glare. Got to get the lighting just right in here yet. And being that I changed everything over, it's really hard to do that. For how much calmer these guys have got in just the last few days, because they were so skittish when I first got them. They're very juvenile yet, which is okay, because I'd rather get really young fish than mature fish. Man, I do like how they school. They certainly are an active fish, aren't they? Both these. Give them a bit of feed and you can see how quick they are. These guys are rockets. So what do you think of the new look for this tank? This is where I used to keep majority of my large shabunkins, which I'm now going to divide up into smaller tanks. The 100-gallon tank, and then I'll put some in a 60-gallon tank. And then I'll keep fry somewhere else. I'm really getting into this planted tank. I've got the bug on it now. We'll have a closer look at the 100-gallon tank. And you'll note I've got my Odessas back in here, and the smaller ones you see underneath them are melon barbs. Now I bought those a while back, and I've just never shown anyone yet because they were really juvenile and the colors hadn't really started to pop yet. Well, I've decided to put these in together. I think they'll make a great species tank with the Odessas and that of the melon barbs. And of course, you see some white cloud mountain minnows in there. And to my surprise, these guys didn't all get eaten up either. So it was pretty scary for a few of them. When they first went in, the Odessas went after them pretty quick. I do like the lighting in this tank. The blue really does show up nicely, and it really does help the Odessa's color pop. Although I'm a true fan of a black background. What's everyone else's thought on backgrounds, other than the ones you're buying, either a paint or just a mount background? In this tank, I mainly have Ludwigia plant, a little bit of Bacopa, some dwarf sag, and some Anubias. And I've got one little bit of amaranth in there. Amaranth, never pronounce it. The color is holding up pretty well. The leaves have not died back. For those who saw that in my first and probably ever only unboxing. Both these barb tanks now have bristle nose in there. Hoping they'll keep my tanks relatively clear and not be too rough on my plants. Here's hoping anyway. Decided to move the catfish out of here, and they've gone to a different tank, which I'll show at a later date.
This is kind of my jungle looking tank for now. I will put some barbs in this tank. Odds are I'll put some gold barbs that I have that are currently outside. They'll go in this tank. And again, it will be a species only cypridid, being there's some white cloud in there, Dr. Fish, and Daniels, which are all part of the same family. That being the cypridid family. My Bacopa is finally starting to take off nicely. Really want to get a nice forest going of Bacopa. And I'm going to let them get nice and tall and lanky. As long as they're still have lots of leaves on them. And I like how they sway with the current. What do you think of this art? It is beautiful. Tara from Tara's Tanks Friends did this up for me, and I just love it. She sent it here, and I was just, well, I'm in awe. The nice barb, just to go perfect with this barb tank. The black rubies really do well with the tiger. I was really surprised to see that. This planet tank has done really well, as you can see. And obviously these guys want some food. Who am I not to feed these guys? Well, that should keep them satisfied for quite a while. Does seem like a lot of food, but it'll be gone within 2 minutes. And remember, I only feed these guys once a day. Give these guys a bit of a feed as well. You would think I never fed these guys before. You'll note that for the most part, the Odessas will feed from the top, where the melon barbs prefer to eat from the middle. So you need some of it to make it to the bottom before, or middle, so these guys can eat, because they're not as aggressive feeders as these Odessas, that's for sure. The white clouds seem to be holding their own and are staying in a fairly good school, which I'm pleased with. And I thought I'd bought about $40 worth of live food for these guys, so it worked out well that that they should be able to survive and get to their full size and end up as a nice schooling fish that'll hang out predominantly near the top. As far as the Odessas and the melon barbs getting along, they get along perfectly. I've not had an inch of problem with these guys. Other than trying to keep my plants down for the first few weeks because everyone wants to uproot everything. So I do have, like I said, a couple nursery tanks going. Remember to check back often throughout the summer, as I'll be doing updates on my shabumpkins that you can't really see in here. Maybe the odd fin. There'll be more added throughout the summer as they come in and after they breed. Well, after they hopefully breed, because that's a whole new story for what's going on with them this year. I really did debate whether to put two different types of filament barbs in here. That being the quote unquote filament barb, which you see there, and the Aurelius barb. The filament refers to the thread-like fins that the males get at the back of their dorsal, which are really beautiful, especially when they're in full spawn. Right now, being that I just moved them, they're not really displaying them all that well right now, but in another few weeks, I would imagine they'll be out in their full glory. These filament barbs will produce the same thread-like dorsal fin, and the red tips that you see at the end of their tails will really come up, and you'll really be impressed with the coloring once they get more of a maturity.
Remember to stay tuned. I'm getting closer and closer to that 2,000 subscriber magic number for me, that being a target that I've set for the end of the summer. I'm going to do my first ever giveaway if and when I hit that 2,000 subs. So make sure you subscribe and let me know that you subscribe. As it gets closer, I'll be giving you the details on how I'm going to do this subscriber 2,000 subscriber giveaway. It's not going to be huge, but it's going to be something Stubbs Aquatics. Who knows? Well, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Think about subscribing and hit that like button, because it really does help.